Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the East Riding of Yorkshire series. Together with the unparished city of Hull, it forms the county of the same name. There's 172 parishes here. Which one are we in today? Welcome back to the East Yorkshire Wolds. It's a glorious day out here today. Look at that beautiful blue sky above me, and the East Yorkshire Wolds are going to look fantastic as well because it was snowing yesterday. I just can imagine that the hills will be white over in places. There's not much snow left where I am here. You can see a little bit to my right, your left, but there may be a little bit more as we journey through the very lovely Tibthorpe. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. It's been a while since I was in this part of the Wolds. Welcome to Tibthorpe, a tiny village located within touching distance of Driffield, just 5 miles away. It lies on the B1248 between the villages of Bainton to the south and Wetwang to the north. It has a long history. It was recorded in the Domesday Book as Tibetorp, which means Tibbe's village. If you can recall the Watton episode from last year, it shares a link to Watton Abbey. Centuries ago, the monks from the abbey pastured sheep around the village and could rest at a chapel of ease. Tibthorpe has no shops or any kind of amenities. There isn't even a church. That said, there used to be a Methodist Chapel, but that has now gone. Tibthorpe is also a dry village, meaning there's no pub here either, although there was one historically in Butts Lane. The nearest now is a couple of miles away in Wetwang. Butts Lane also housed a family of Huguenots at one time too. The village has a couple of ghostly folklore tales. One involves an ancient burial ground on one of its farms, which is supposedly haunted. Close by are High Wood and Low Wood, and it's said that the entrance to High Wood is haunted by the figure of a woman who causes traffic to slow down before vanishing into thin air. Well, haunted or not, it's another lovely Wolds village that we're going to walk around. Let's go. We begin on Main Street and we're heading for the centre of the village and the B1248, the main road on which Tibthorpe is located. Main Street has everything you'd expect from a typical East Riding village. It's narrow, it's lined with cottages and farms, and footpaths are almost non-existent. In the past, several small businesses flourished in the village, including a cobbler, a fishmonger, a butcher, a blacksmith, and a general village store. I can show you where at least 2 of those things used to be. As we head for the centre, we come across a postbox that's been, well, spruced up a bit. This one dates from the time of George V. It's right next to the village pump, another typical East Yorkshire village landmark. Historically, the village water supply used to be drawn from a well. These landmarks are on a small green, along with this bench, which is in memory of a Tibthorpe local. We'll talk some more about him in a bit. There's a little wooden shelter here too. So as we approach the village centre, we find this little shelter which has got all sorts of things in it, including this picture frame, which has got a few old pictures of Tibthorpe in it. I'll just point out what these are because you might not be able to read them. So the bottom one is the one that sort of took my attention first off. The sunlight is terrible in here. It's to do with the well on Well Lane, which we will be going up later. You can see as well a pond here on this one, and that pond seems to be where this shelter is, this little green that we're on. So obviously that's been filled in. So yeah, at the top it says photos showing the history of Tibthorpe village. Do you have a photo we could add to this picture frame? So if anyone out there has got any others, please do let Tibthorpe Parish Council know, and they will add a photo to what's already there. Also in here, we've got a parish notice board, which is just here. I've left my cards in the car, but we will put a card on this notice board before we leave. Let's carry on walking around the village. I initially thought this was a gravestone. It turned out to be a milepost on the B1248. Beverley is 12 miles to the south, Moulton 16 to the north. Next, it's Eastlands Road, and this curious looking building is the Tibthorpe Telephone Exchange. There used to be a red telephone box outside this. If we look to the east here, we can see a big house. That's Eastlands, the biggest and most expensive property in Tibthorpe. It's valued at north of £1.1 million. Back the other way, here's the old blacksmith shop, which stands in front of a local garage, BN Mechanical Services. Let's go back to the B1248. This road will feature a lot more in future episodes because it runs for some 27.1 miles from Cherryburton to the A64 near Moulton. We're only going as far here though as Butts Lane. This takes its name from the medieval archers who practiced their skills close by. It used to be known as Thornton Lane and once had a pub called Thornton's Inn. So if you were to go any further south beyond Butts Lane, the road runs towards Bainton. Hopefully you can remember that episode. It was a beautiful day, just like this when I did Bainton. If you haven't seen it, it will be linked in today's end screen. There's nothing much more of any note down there. It's just basically a couple of houses on either side of the road. So now we're going to turn to the right as you look at it down Well Lane towards the village hall. Well Lane takes its name from the actual well we spoke about earlier. We'll see the well in a moment, but first, it's the village hall. Made of corrugated iron, a rare thing these days, the village hall is the only community space the village has. There's a small play area around the back too. Here's the site of the well, which dates back to 1750 according to this sign. The sign not only marks the well's location, but it also serves as a commemoration of Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee. Well Lane is otherwise residential, and at the end and to the right is the former village shop. The bench we saw earlier stands opposite this, and it's in memory of the former shopkeeper, Dennis Wood, who died in 1996. And our last landmark is the World War I War Memorial, which is on the other side of Well Lane. It's a rough-hewn cross with an ammunition shell next to it. Okay, and from here it's a simple walk straight back up Main Street to where we began. Tibthorpe is a very, very small village, but very much East Yorkshire, isn't it? It's definitely got that East Yorkshire Wolds feel to it. It's certainly a Wolds village, and I love it. It's fantastic, and it looks great in the sunshine. Do you know something? This beautiful blue sky that's above me means that it's quite chilly today. But to be honest with you, it's just fabulous. If you can deal with the cold weather, wrap up warm like I have, there's absolutely no reason why you can't enjoy a walk around Tibthorpe. It's been great. Small, but equally great. And I hope this continues into my next one on the East Yorkshire Wolds. I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot. This has been the parish of Tibthorpe, and I'm out.